Well, I also don't let the algorithm know that I'm obsessed with Game of Thrones, so it sends me those things all the time. I don't see them.
One tap and then it's done. Or you watch one thing the whole way. Here's all the theories, which is like, okay, show me another one.
My downfall is going to be a hot man with muscles talking about Game of Thrones, and I'll be like, "Yes, tell me more." And then they're like, "Oh, do you want Game of Thrones stuff?" And I'm like, "Oh, fuck."
Do you have one in mind? A hot man with muscles talking about Game of Thrones?
Hello and welcome to Incomplete Geeks, a gay geek podcast. I'm your host, John. That is your host, Nick. Today we are talking about Hot Damn, It's Over, baby. The Lord of the... Fuck, I fucked it up.
Game of the Thrones ring.
Game of the Thrones.
Game of the
Ring of the House of the Dragon. Its finale has happened and we have things to say about it. The Rings of the Thrones of the Dragon Power. Hot D, as it's pronounced, which I can't stop thinking of hot dogs now every time I see hot D.
I'm thinking of something different, but you know.
Why did I think of that? Hot D. Well, I mean, I do think of that as well. But that's
good.
like always on my mind anyway.
Hot and tasty. Yeah.
Hot D. Like when I said to my friend, I need some sun because it was really sunny outside because I need my vitamin D. And I don't mean dick. And then I said, well, actually.
Both.
Get that skin out, boys.
Maybe not in the direct sunlight. I don't want sunburned dick. That's got to be.
No, you don't want your dick in sunlight.
No. Good God.
Although.
Oh God.
We found, when we went to Bulgaria recently, we found a nude beach, which was literally just like a stretch of beach that was for nude people. People from like Sweden and Germany.
Yes, Jonathan, that tends to be what a nude beach is. It's a stretch of beach for nude people.
No, but like it's the same beach. It's the same part of sand against the coast. It wasn't like a secluded beach kind of thing. So like there's your junk out. Tom burned his butt.
Well, it's better than the alternative.
He just sat. He didn't think about. It was cloudy, and he didn't think about putting sunscreen on his butt because who does that? And he burned his butt.
That part of me has never seen direct sunlight.
Yeah.
It would burn. I mean, the rest of me burns like that. Good God.
It probably would then.
It'd be so white. It'd be like, what's the thing? It's like lighting the thing from whatever that Lord of the Rings reference is. What is it?
The Gondor. The flame of Gondor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exposing my genitalia on a nude beach would be like lighting the flame of Gondor. It would be
God.
so bright. Good God.
Rohan needs help.
God. A lot of us need help.
The
trust
brightness reflecting.
We're not talking about Lord of the Rings.
No, sorry.
That's the other one. That was the other episode.
What are we doing?
We are talking about Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. It is over. And we have to wait 2 years for another episode.
2 years?
2 years.
Well, that was my first question.
I'll be
the next
40
season?
fucking 2 when the next bloody episode comes out.
Oh, God. Why? And why?
I suppose they had to. Well, no. Well, they had to wait to make sure people actually watched it because, let's face it, after season 8, many of us might not have, and a lot of people haven't.
Okay, fair. But they knew after like 2 seasons that they were
2 episodes, yeah, and then they greenlit it. But then they've got to film it, which will take a year to organize because everyone has to be free, and then they need a year to CGI the shit out of it, which is how long it takes.
I'm free. Call me.
It was my greatest ambition in life is to just be a dead body on Game of Thrones, and I didn't have enough time the last time. It can happen.
Hello?
It can happen this time round. Ready to go. I know people in Belfast. Let's go. We'll be filming.
Yes, Belfast, yeah. I know. I got in touch with somebody who was like the director of the company that basically organized the extras on that show.
Yeah.
And I was like, I look like I belong in a Winterfell or on the wall. Look at my big old beard and everything. I can wear not a hat or anything.
Very northern vibes.
But like, I got as far as like signing up on the website based in Belfast, and they were like, "Are you local / willing to travel to Belfast?" And I was like, "Yes." And then I was like, "Oh man, I have a job. I forgot about that.
Oh, maybe fuck I can't that.
I know.
Find us that link again, because I will ditch work to be an extra on Game of Thrones.
I'll find it. It's like Northern Ireland extras or something basic like that.
Fantastic.
We'll do it. Let's do it. Oh, and guess what else? I was talking at my new job in the lunchroom with somebody who was talking about who is Irish. I think Northern Irish by his accent, but I'm new to the job. I don't know. Didn't get to know everybody well enough yet. But he was talking about the Game of Thrones experience in Belfast, and I said, "Hey, my podcast co-host went there, and he loved it." He was like, "Oh, because I haven't been. I kind of want to go." I was like, "You should go."
So good, especially now that you can go with excitement because the show's back and you can just enjoy it.
Yeah,
oh, it's so good.
Did you say that they had like the sets as well from the old show,
like the throne room or like dining chamber thing from Winterfell? That is the scenery. So where Littlefinger was killed and everything, that is where you walk around.
That's
where they filmed it.
That's cool. So, but not like the big room with the throne at the one end, because they're using that now for when they were filming the.
No, that's not Winterfell. That was it. But they do have a version of that there. All the costumes and all the shit. It's great. It's so much fun, and
they have to have like a throne for people to sit on and take photos.
Oh, I have I did do that. They have like a green screen throne. It costs like $20, and I look awful.
Green screen.
Yeah, so they can put like proper Winterfell behind it. So you have not Winterfell, sorry, like whatever.
King's Landing.
Yeah, sure, whatever. So you sit on a proper Iron Throne. I don't know where that is.
I would show up with like a glass of wine and just like my blonde hair cut short and like pretend to be Cersei. I'm trying to think of a line she said. I don't know.
Little Dove. I don't know.
Little Dove. In the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
Yeah, that was her.
That was
kind of an important one. She's the only one who says the name of the show. Anyway.
And in this finale episode of House of the Dragon, we get the name of the show in that episode as well. Spoken by Yaman Baratheon. I will not have
the House of the Dragon.
The House of the Dragon doesn't seem to know who's leading it or whatever it is. There you go. Nice little segue into what we're actually talking about.
To the actual thing we're talking about. Okay.
What did you think of the finale? My neighbor's making.
I loved it.
Yeah, me too.
Perfect. I loved it. I don't. No criticisms, no notes.
Perfect. Did you? Okay. Before
we're done. Thank you. You can.
Yeah, that's it. Write in at Incomplete.
Write in.
Follow me on Twitter. No, not me. Traumatic birth scene, miscarriage scene.
Traumatic, but also like the non-miscarriage birth scene in episode 5 was pretty traumatic. The way they make like the actual squelching sounds in that episode freaked me out.
Which one was that? Remind me.
Well, the first time they had the grown-ups, like the first time they had the adult ones, you meet older Rhaenyra. Ash is giving birth to.
Oh yeah. Joffrey. Her third.
Yeah, and you actually you hear the
squelching.
Slightly a little bit more professional than that, but which they obviously never do in normal shows. But I imagine they're squelching because there's a human coming at you, Vajij. So
yeah, that is biology. Welcome to the human existence.
It was dramatic and traumatic, but she's sorry, I will do my best. They did such a great job of
the actor. You mean?
Yeah, Emma. Yeah, did such a great job of just the struggle she was. Yeah, brilliant, fab, just brilliant.
Yeah, it was a really good scene, and I was like just the right amount of cringy as well. Like, oh god, it's like a baby coming out.
I think I really think they're doing well with adjusting throughout the series their levels of violence, sex, and cringe. Like it's still very much there and still very familiar, but it feels like they're not dialing it up in the same way they did in the original series.
Yeah,
they're kind of like we're growing beyond this. So hopefully things like sexual assault and all that kind of stuff is like, right, we've done this, we don't need to do that again. Yeah, we don't want any of that kind of stuff.
It's no longer
they had in the first episode. It's kind of like, remember, we have boobs. Ooh, boobs and dragons. And then that's it. Hopefully it's like, right, chill out. We don't need to do that the way that Game of Thrones did.
Who's boobs?
It was in the whorehouse, wasn't it? When
Daemon as well
was fucking some whores in the first episode.
Yeah. Oh, is that the first episode? Oh, maybe it was, yeah. Oh, yeah. So and there definitely was a penis as well.
Yeah, yes, good. Yes, fantastic. Wonderful penises. I'm sure it wasn't. But I feel like, yes.
Was it a real penis or what?
Probably not.
A prop penis.
Yeah, so they're keeping the kind of the gore and the blood and the stuff, but it seems a little bit more. I don't want to say sophisticated, because it's still not like the episode where Carax the dragon just stomps on the soldier, that poor soldier who thinks he's going to be saved.
Yeah, I know what you mean though. It's like it's not played for its gratuitousness.
Yeah,
it's part of the story. It's part of the thing that they're trying to say.
It doesn't need to.
The gore itself isn't what they're trying to say. The gore is part of what they're trying to say.
Even when like he sliced the head off, like we have expectations of grossness, and yes, it was done, but like you didn't see any. I don't know. It's going to get gorier because it's going to be a full-on civil war, so we're going to see a lot of death and a lot of fighting. So it's probably going to get worse.
It wasn't like, and then I don't want to spend too much time comparing the two shows, but it wasn't like in the Lord of the Rings where he's got like the orc above him, like trying to stab him in the eye, and there's like this blood and guts, and I'm like, okay, done.
Or it wasn't like when that happened, the Viper. That's just...
For our listeners, what Nick did was he put his thumbs on his eyes and he squeezed.
When Oberon left us.
When Oberon
that kind of stuff was done for pure terrifying shockness. And because it's not written in the script, there isn't a script for this book. This happened. They don't have to be as...
Thank you for segueing into my next question, Nicholas.
Fantastic.
So,
just a natural back and forth between us.
Yeah. We already know that there's a few things that are different than the book that it's based on. But, like, there are enough differences that people who have read the books are still being surprised. And that's what I really like about it, because I'm trying really hard not to know. And I know some of overarching things by accident about, like, the line of succession or whatever. The sex session.
Sexy session.
But I don't know the details that happen in between.
But that's the thing. Like, it's a civil war. We know pretty much all of them are going to die. Pretty much, so many characters are going to die.
No, we don't know that. We don't know that.
We do, and the ones that do survive, they die eventually.
Oh, right. Okay, that's what you mean.
And also, who the fuck dies of old age in that universe? Like, if you've read the books, like I read the book, like I have, like none of them really. I mean, Jaehaerys was
Maester Aemon.
Yeah, there's a couple of characters that are famously old and die at 70 or whatever. No one lives particularly long, so they will all die probably somehow, some way. One or two might be left, maybe. So it's not really it's not a spoiler. So the whole point is we get to watch the journey of how we get there, and we do kind of. I don't know. We know what happens to some of them.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
It was in Game of Thrones. I've seen the clips where they talk about it in Game of Thrones. They referenced it because obviously it's history for them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, don't know what we're talking about, so don't say anything.
Stannis Baratheon's daughter and Joffrey both reference it. They've said what happened at the end. So, which is
remember.
It's going to be dramatic and horrible, but I mean, I don't know.
There's a book on my shelf right behind me, which you probably can't see, but it's the World of Ice and Fire that was sort of co-written by George R. Martin, and I happened to sort of Tom was asking about what is the Doom? What even is the Doom? Like, people talk about, like, I don't know what it is.
I think I have that as well. Is it illustrated, The World of Ice and Fire?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that one too. It's in the living room. Yeah.
But I flipped over to the Doom page, and there's like one page pretty early on about what happened, and I realized that there's like, it's literally like the history of the Targaryens, and I couldn't help but like reading up a little bit up to where the show starts, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more, and I was like, no, I gotta stop, and it's nowhere near as detailed. It's nowhere near as detailed as like the Fire and Blood books, but I still like saw a few things, and I was like, I'm gonna try to delete that out of my head, and even the things that I remember didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen. So, like, it's what you said, it's about the journey. It's just like, how do we get there?
And the book that it's based on is a historical text, or written as a historical text.
Yes.
So it's written from two people's point of view, like a court jester and a maester from hundreds of years later. So it's not like there's no internal monologue. You don't understand anyone's motivations. You don't have any of that kind of insider stuff. But it also could be wrong.
It's like, not even reliable. Yeah,
it's the stories of whoever survived. So it's their kind of recount of everything. So in that regard, George also gives himself the freedom to change it, embellish it.
Yeah. So then
Segueing onto that,
is this show canon then? Like, is this like the history of?
It depends on how
Or
you
is
want
this
to
an
qualify that,
interpretation?
because then either the books are canon or the TV shows are canon of the original series.
Well, the thing is, like,
it?
if the TV show is canon, the books can still be canon because it is just a historical thingy, you know.
Of this one, but not Game of Thrones.
Correct. Yeah. Oh, true. Because we did talk about before how he could just change his mind about what the ending is going to be.
He could.
And I hope he fucking does.
He either just says, yeah, I'm changing it, or goes along with it. I know that's a really stupid thing to say. Of course, that's the answer.
It's going to be either this way or not that way. So,
what a brilliant insight.
Deep thoughts.
And either way, it's going to piss people off.
Well, even if he does go with the same storyline, it's going to be in a much more detail. Like I mentioned to you, things that they never talk about in the Game of Thrones show, that the characters who just never show up.
Yeah.
Who at the end of the 5th book, which is all we know so far, pose a pretty big threat to the stability of Westeros and Daenerys. Like other claimants to the throne who are just not even mentioned.
Oh yeah.
Other dragons, other
yeah.
Anyway, what was your segue?
Well, the differences between like what you can read in the book is a brief overview of what happens versus seeing in the show things they've introduced where you see things. Oh God, words! I'm using words to say things.
It's almost like you're a podcast host. Or something. No, I got to speak.
The dragons having somewhat ulterior motives or having a difference of opinion or something like that. Obviously, it's not
the wild animals, really.
Like, to show that kind of level, because, you know, it would be reported. So, spoilers now. We're getting into it.
Oh, yeah, if we haven't mentioned it by now.
In the book, again, I can't remember it, which I'm not keen to reread it. I want to try and forget it as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But after the events, when Aemond kills his cousin? Nephew, right?
Nephew. Yeah. Because he does say nephews in the courtyard when...
Oh, does he? There we go.
Yeah.
So in the books, the person recounting that will just say what he says when he lands to Alicent and everything like that. It's like,
right,
I killed them or whatever, that sort of stuff. It isn't an opportunity for you to go inside his head where he's like, he struggled against Vhagar, he wasn't sure, you know, you don't get any of that. So they're free to do that. And I love this theme, which they hinted at in the first episode, where Viserys was like, we don't control them, it's an illusion.
Yes.
They're these giant freaking things that weren't supposed to be. So adding that, even that tiny little suggestion, which was fun, that could go to become huge as the show progresses. And I think that was such a clever idea. George wrote this screenplay for this episode, didn't he?
I don't remember. One thing I really like about it as well is, you know how I always complain that there's not much magic, but like somebody said somewhere in some YouTube thing that I watched, it was like basically, if in this world a lot of the magic comes from, say, Valyria, where these Targaryens and the Valerians come from, it's like maybe their ties with magic is how they are able to sort of create a bond with the dragon, how it seems to feel what the humans are, what the elves, oh my god, what the Targaryens are feeling. Hang on. And also, like, if they're losing that connection, then they're going to lose control of the dragons eventually, and then the dragons are going to die out eventually. Does that make sense?
Yes. Pivoting off of that, because I've been watching a lot of YouTube stuff as well.
Yeah, like we all have.
There is the suggestion that either dragons don't exist in nature, or the connection that the Targaryens have to them isn't natural. It was created with blood magic. So if like the dragons don't exist in nature, so like they're like, there's other ones, there's underground dragons with no wings that breathe fire. If it was blood magic and dark sorcery that created them, and the Targaryens and the sorcerers or whatever created the dragons. Fuck, what was my point with this?
Dark magic.
So they use the magic to create the dragon. So this isn't something that's like, oh, it's a natural connection we have. It's like, no, they shouldn't exist in nature.
Yeah.
It was a corruption of nature and all this gross stuff. If you listen to them, it's really fucking creepy. And that's why they can ride them, that sort of stuff. it also makes sense why they shouldn't exist in nature and why this kind of the fight between them, they die out because it's not the magic's gone, Valeria's gone. There's only one family still around with that blood sort of thing to kind of keep it going. That's why the eggs don't hatch. That's why there's fewer and fewer. It's not a natural state. It's not like we wiped out dodos or anything like that. These are things that should not have existed. And with the family fighting amongst itself, and the natural order is for them to not be there at all, and then they don't until Dany has them, and they only hatch because of blood magic. They don't hatch naturally, right? In the books, it's like
it's tied to her.
She kills a person to bring it around, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of blood magic in the books, and because you've not read them at all, have you?
No,
the first 5, and so there's a lot of blood magic where it's mentioned. There's the woman when Khal Drogo is dying, she goes to that slave woman. I think she's a slave, the prisoner to try to revive him, to get him alive. But the cost of that was her own child. And so because that was a kind of blood magic, like a life for a death kind of thing. So that's
only death can pay for a life.
That's what it was. So that's blood magic. But then what Dany does is she kills that woman in her grief and anger, and that is the kind of catalyst to get the 3 dragons born. That's the theory.
Yeah.
So
that could be unnatural magic as what
That's unnatural, yeah. Which is why there's not as much magic in the show. I don't know, until she does that. But then there's the White Walkers as well. I don't know. We're getting off.
We're going on to Game of Thrones again. But we should be talking about the finale. We haven't even talked about what we were talking about, like the actual.
Fine, we'll get back to it. But I got 2 questions for you.
All right.
Cut out stuff anyway. I cut out whatever. 2 questions is how they come back is probably, I guess, because Jenny's bringing the magic back into the world. How did she know? Because she is a Targaryen. Maybe the Targaryens lost that magic when the Valyria blew up, is because they don't remember. Nobody knows how to maintain those dragons in that long a term.
Yep.
But of course, maybe that's a good thing, because if the blood magic, the sorcery was the cause of the doom, which is a very valid argument, it's probably best that they don't exist. Yep. But my other question is, why, if that's true, that's how they tame them, how come non-Targaryens can ride them?
Non-Targaryens can't ride them.
They sure can.
In the books?
Oh, wait. No, hang on.
Nope. They always have to have Targaryen blood. So they may have different names. They could be Baratheons, but they have Targaryen parents. Or they're bastards and they have Targaryen parents. And Jon Snow is Targaryen as well.
I was thinking of Rhaenyra's too, but they're her children, obviously.
They're her grandchildren. Yeah. And Daemon's, who is a Targaryen. Her
grandchildren? No. Her the Strongs.
Yes, but they're Rhaenyra's. Oh, sorry, I always go to Rhaenyra's, but they are.
Yeah, Rhaenys as well.
Just because they don't have blonde hair, they're still Targaryen.
True.
Jon Snow.
And in the book, it's hinted that even the Lannisters, the Lannisters of that time, like Tyrion and them, there's a hint of Valyrian blood in them as well. Which is why when Tyrion goes up to one of the dragons, it's hinted at it. Well, fine.
There isn't.
I'm sure there might be
none. There is a lot. There is a lot of Targaryen blood in the Baratheons. Like if you follow that thing, first of all, the first Baratheon, like the head of the first Baratheon, was Aegon's half brother. So he is
Aegon had a half brother.
Yeah, he was a bastard half brother.
Okay.
Aegon the Conqueror.
Yeah,
it was his half brother. Was the first Baratheon, and what's his face? Fat guy who died because of a pig.
Robert.
His grandma was a Targaryen, so he was a fucking Targaryen. It's a shit ton of Targaryens all over the place. They're fucking all over the place.
It's like Aegon the Conqueror's become Genghis Khan, where he's just eventually everybody's great grandfather. They just, unless you're from the Andals and the First Man, or the Targaryen from there.
Should we talk about the episode? We haven't talked about the episode.
We talk about the episode and also the series as a whole.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the episode.
The episode
we talked about the birth, which was creepy.
Yeah,
over that.
Can we talk about the dragon chomp?
Let's talk about the most important bit, because I was like, we could talk about all the subtleties. Let's get straight to it. It was
okay.
It's it was perfect Game of Thrones style in that the second Lucerys landed, you're like, oh shit, this isn't going to go well. Like you knew straight away this isn't going to go well.
It was before that with me. Do you remember what it was? It was when she was like, she gives the older son, she says goodbye because they're lingering a bit too long on like her saying goodbye. Now you'll be great. And then the older kid is like, here's your task. Go ahead, you'll be fine. Now the younger kid, you're gonna be, you're gonna be fine. It's just over there. You hop in there, give the message, come back. You're not a fighter. I love you, honey. See you soon. I was like, he's dead. Yeah. They're setting us up for some kind of failure. Classic.
But in my point, carrying on my point, so like you think, oh, you're like, oh god, it's gonna go badly, and then all the tension, and then he like gets out, and then he goes in the thing, and then he's above the clouds. And you think, okay, maybe the twist is he's actually fine. Perfect. It gives you that tiny little bit of like questioning. It's like, oh no, maybe it will be fine.
Then like, nope, boom, it's gone.
It was just done so perfectly. That fucking flight where he's like flying through the storm and then the shadow of Vhagar is above him. It's
just you see like how the size difference is.
Because we're obsessed. We're all obsessed with the size of the different dragons and how old they are and who rides them and all that sort of stuff. We love that shit. So to see this little kid flying on basically a horse with wings.
A baby, yeah.
I'm just a baby. And then this fucking giant dinosaur. It's so good.
It is a dinosaur. And what you're saying is at heart we're all size queens. We want the biggest.
Okay, good. Keep it gay. Well done. Done.
That's what I'm here for.
Keep it gay.
Is Vhagar the biggest dragon alive
now because Balerion?
Oh right, okay. Died. And Vhagar was one of the ones, the sister wife.
It was Visenya's dragon, and Rhaenys' dragon died with her at Sunspear.
Oh yes, that's right. I remember that. Yeah, it was done really well. I had a hint that one of the kids was going to die, so that's what I accidentally read in my book, and I didn't remember how it happened, but I knew that Aemond had something to do with it, so I was like, "Ooh, this might be it," and then it was getting on and on. Okay, this is how it happens. Nope, he's flying through the crevices. Oh, he's gonna. And I was like, in my head, I was like, do something, like land, like wait, like, do something.
Wait there, wait in a small cave. You fucking arsehole. But no.
Fly into land so that if you do die, it's not going to be hidden. You don't fly over the water. You're clean pickings. As soon as he got up above the clouds, I was like, he's an easy target now.
That's great. How did Daemon know?
I don't know. Magic.
What?
He got a raven? I don't know.
From whom?
I don't know. That's the part where you sort of like, he knew. He just knew. You gloss over that because you can't. When Aemon's staring, he's like, "Oh my god, what happened? I've just started this war." I was like, "Is that the end of the season?" And then they cut back to Dragonstone with him, and then like, "Okay, no, this has to be the end of the show because it's her finding out."
She'd better get a fucking Emmy just for that one scene where she has to like control herself and then turn around and look of rage in her eyes. She'd better get a freaking Emmy for that. I want Emmy. Yes. It's difficult because because their character is a she. I'm so sorry. I really am.
I mean, I was going to say it's fine, but I can't say
it's not. It's not fine. It will take some time, and I will get better.
But we all know who you're talking about, and yeah, it was very, very good acting. Also, wasn't there a moment when you see her get the crown on her head, and I had just like, oh, this is what Dany should have been. I like that moment.
The whole premise of the show just makes me sad that Dany didn't get her moment. The whole thing that we're hoping that at the end of it, feminism, triumphs and people realize they've learned the error of their ways. But we know that's 100% not true. Even if you have read the books, that's not true because Dany doesn't win and we get Bran Flakes Stark.
Bran Flakes. It's like we waited 10 years for that as well, and we didn't even get it.
We're going back to Game of Thrones. Let's stick to House of the D.
No, but I mentioned because I was like, oh, she's a queen. She is a queen.
Yes.
Dany never really got to be queen. Like
that's true.
Queen of I don't want to be a queen over a city of ashes. Well, sorry, honey, that's what you got because you are.
I can't. Let's just focus on Rhaenyra. Maybe we'll get some time with Rhaenyra.
I did like that, and I thought that she was a better mentality for being a queen.
Oh, I love
like it's how Rhaenys said, like, she's got the temperament, she's the only one holding this realm together at the
exactly. And it's really, I don't know if that is, I'm pretty sure that's a conscious effort, and you can see that there's more female writers and female directors on the show as opposed to that 0 or 1 that were in the original. But simple things like, yes, the fact that Rhaenys is like, she's not reacting, and everyone's like, Daemon and Corlys are all like, revenge, war, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
and she's
and like the knights.
I need to know who's fighting. I need to know what we're fighting. That sort of shit. Chill the fuck out.
I need to know my allies, etc., etc. I'm like, yes.
I love the bit where I don't know when it was. She walks in to the meeting thing when after she's been crowned and like steps forward, and the Queen's Guard will step with her, and she goes,
"Yeah,
stay here.
You're fine. You're fine."
And then when her nieces, one gives her a wine, and she's like, "Come," and she invites them both to be involved. I'm like,
yeah, that was good as well. But you see that moment?
I love it.
She gets offered wine like minutes after she gives birth, not birth, but she's like, I can't have wine. Oh, I can't have wine now. Okay, go on then. Okay. And I was like, no, those are her stepchildren, not nieces. Those are Daemon's children.
So but they're also her husband, ex-husband's nieces.
Nieces, yes.
But also,
who's her stepchildren?
Yes, stepchildren. Yes,
Rhaenys is their grandmother,
and that's her.
So Rhaenys is her mother-in-law, ex-mother-in-law,
but also like her,
also her dad's
cousin, second cousin or something. Okay, fine. She's not an aunt. I feel like Rhaenys should be an aunt, but she's not. She's like she's her dad's cousin. Got it. Okay, yes, stepchildren and future daughter-in-law, because they're betrothed to her children.
Oh yeah.
Well, no. One of them is.
One of them.
Not anymore.
I mean, I have a question, because is it worth?
I don't think I have the answer, but I'm happy to listen.
The question is it worth talking about all the fucking incest in this show / books?
But also, no, I don't mind. I don't really care anymore. It was so shocking when Jaime and Cersei did it. Now I was like, who cares? Fuck your uncle. Give a shit. Whatever.
The Targaryens did that,
Who cares? Even after you read the books and you're like, he married both of his sisters and fucked both of his sisters. You're like, you know what? After that, but all of them, all of the parents, like as you go through the book, and it's like, of course married to his sister, and they lost 7 children in childbirth. Like, you think? No, really.
When Rhaenyra gives birth and there's like those flashes of the dragon, I'm like, what's that about? Like, are we meant to believe that like she's giving birth to a dragon?
Because they have a psychic connection. That's why.
Really? Oh, well, okay.
The dragon's they do. Like, and
angry.
That's why, like, they react to each other's emotions rather than what they're saying. This is a theory. And when, oh god, Daemon, so many names are so fucking similar. Yeah. Daemon was in that battle at the beginning, and he gets hit by an arrow. Caraxes roared. So, like, they're kind of hinting that there's more of a connection there, which is why they react to like instinct. I don't know. It's fun. Yeah. I like it.
No, I get that. And, but that can only go so far, because obviously with Luke is the going one, and his dragon. I don't know what his dragon is called, but how like he says, obey, calm down,
But he was scared, and so he was reacting to his fear.
Was scared. Yeah, that's true.
He was terrified. Fucking T-Rex is flying at him, so he was responding to his emotions, not his Valerian orders. I don't know. It's a fun theory. It's cute. It gives a fun new level when there's this big fucking fights that are going to happen in the future of Targaryen versus Targaryen. There's also another factor of what the fuck are the dragons actually going to do? Are they going to listen to what they decide to do, or are they going to do something slightly different as they get bigger and more violent? Are they going to have any control? That's fucking fun, man.
That's also why we're going to have to wait for 2 years for that season, because there's going to be so much CGI.
Well, it's like, are people watching this? Okay, so that's $20 million an episode to animate each of Vhagar's fucking teeth and the draw
I know.
As she bites off things' heads.
And the reflection of Daemon in the eyes. Whatever. Wait, here's a question. Who? Okay, quick question. Because I don't go too long on it. But who dragon? Who dragon is that? I mean, I don't want to. Do I call the dragons whose? Are they people's? Whose dragon? Who dragon? Which dragon is that he's talking to? That he's kind of singing to? Kind of afraid that he's going to be eaten?
Vermithor, apparently.
Okay, and
which
that
was
was
King Jaehaerys's.
Jaehaerys's dragon.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
who disappeared when Jaehaerys died, and no one's written.
But there's no clue in the show that that's who
Nah,
that
it's just
is.
an assumption based on the size, and that kind
Mm-hmm.
of works out. I thought it might be one of the wild dragons. So they say
Yeah,
sheep stealer is quite a big one, but I feel
yeah.
like they're going to make more of a thing about meeting the
Vermiform.
wild dragons because there's like
Oh,
a whole reason. I will.
and
Nah,
the thing is, we never get it's a good point as well. Like some of these smaller ones have never seen battle, so they're going to be.
it's
They
a
might have more of
horse.
them.
That
Yeah.
stupid thing was tiny.
The whole point of it is like we are talking about this in such detail because it's such a good show, it's such a
Yep.
good universe that we really into. So, like, in terms of like the fantasy elements, it's really just the dragons. Like, there's no
Well,
other sort of.
they might do some red witchy stuff or some
We'll
spooky
see.
ooky pooky stuff, but I think we got enough. I prefer where they just hint at the magic rather than they dive into it. That's more fun.
We'll see where it goes. So I know you probably know what happens to each dragon.
I only know the main plot points because
Okay.
I vaguely remembered it, and then everyone on TikTok's talking about it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that.
So if we have 2 years, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to between now and then read the books and have theories, whatever
Yep.
else.
It's
I'm not going to be
inescapable.
one of them.
Huh?
I'm not going to be one of them.
You're not on TikTok, so I think you'll be fine.
Well, I also don't let the algorithm know that I'm obsessed with Game of Thrones, so it sends me those things all the time. I don't see them.
One tap and then it's done. Or you watch one thing the whole way. Here's all the theories, which is like, okay, show me another one.
My downfall is going to be a hot man with muscles talking about Game of Thrones, and I'll be like, "Yes, tell me more." And then they're like, "Oh, do you want Game of Thrones stuff?" And I'm like, "Oh, fuck."
Do you have one in mind? A hot man with muscles talking about Game of Thrones? Do you know one in particular that you'd like to recommend, or is this
no? Because I
theoretical?
can't. This is my downfall.
If any hot men with muscles would like to talk about Game of Thrones, please send us your details.
We can do the video thing.
Just send me a TikTok. That's fine. I don't care.
What about me?
I'll share them with you then.
Instagram reel, yeah. We do require proof of these muscles, so you have to have your shirt off. I'm afraid. Just the way it is.
Well, a vest. I'm fine with a vest. I'll take a side, like a
vest
side boob.
Yeah. Bit of side boob, yeah.
I'm fine with that. I'll take that. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Anyway,
the level of hotness in this show significantly reduced from the original series because all the men are shit.
It's been one season though.
I know. They are all awful because Harwin Strong died. Everyone else is a piece of shit. Or a child.
Yep, can't think of anybody else. No. Nobody else. Yeah, poor Harwin.
Gone too soon.
There's nobody else. Listen, there's going to be... Okay. What's next? What's going to be in season 2, do you think, without giving anything away? And I'm particularly asking about
I don't remember the huge details, which I'm really glad that I have a memory like a sieve, so that's fine. The Starks are the next big thing. So Jaehaerys is going off to meet with Cregan Stark of Winterfell.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna.
He's going to the Eyrie first, though.
Apparently. Yeah, but that'll be boring because they'll be inbred and weird. But like the big thing is convincing the Starks. I don't know which side they choose. I'm pretty sure they'll probably choose the good guys, right? We want them on Team Blacks.
No, yeah, we're rooting for the Starks.
For Rhaenyra.
Are
you team Black or Team Green?
Oh, I have to be Team Black.
Yeah.
Is that an option?
Well,
like Otto Hightower is like the Tywin Lannister of the show.
I love Tywin though. Oh my God.
I know he's great, but he's so good. But like Otto is just so like the actor's great, but the Otto is just so like schemy, and like Tywin genuinely has good. You feel like he's got good reasons for like his.
Well, Tywin's evil, children, whereas Otto is just scheming-y.
Scheming, yeah.
He's a bit dumber.
He says it's for the good of the realm, but that's about it. Because his good of the realm is based in patriarchy, which is not a really good reason.
But the thing is, no, it's not. You and I can say, yay, down with patriarchy, but this is an ancient world with dragons, and women meant nothing. If they had just gone ahead and put a woman on the throne, they wouldn't have taken it. They would have been like, who the fuck is this woman? Get rid of her. And there's a load of men here. They would have just gotten rid of her. And so if she does win, gets the throne, and people won't. The common bumfuck inbred peasant people won't take it because they think women are garbage and they'll want to get rid of her. So, revolution, I think, would happen. So I'm not Team Green because we love Rhaenyra, but I also love Alicent. I think her journey is so fascinating. How we saw her as this 14-year-old kid. You know, he's like, "Oh, I can't marry the 12-year-old." It's like, "Well, I've got a 14-year-old." Well, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Marries her
in
off,
Otto again. It's so skinny. Wear one of your mother's dresses. I'm like, ew.
Like,
anyway, yes.
You know, she's popping out babies while Rhaenyra is riding around and like making out with people, living her best teenage life, and she had to be the old-fashioned woman. Whereas Rhaenyra is trying to be feminism, and she was so manipulated and so used, Alicent, all the way through it. So I have a lot of empathy for her character. So, and she's not a bad person. She's not a bitch, and she's always trying to do what she thinks is the right thing. Although her psycho children aren't.
I know. I think another reason
they're not inbred, but they sure as fuck act like it, don't they?
Yeah. And there's 4 children as well. We only see 3 of them in the season.
She has 4 children?
One of them, I don't know if it's the youngest, but the 4th one is basically off to Old Town or something. If you look closely in the opening credits, there's like 4 lines coming from her little whatever sigil is.
From Alicent and Viserys.
But it's like very brief. I only knew it because of all the breakdowns that I watch on YouTube.
I might need a break from the breakdowns. I watched a couple.
Yeah.
I watched the full. Yeah, I need a break.
Yeah, no more. I need a break from the breakdowns.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, one of the reasons I think I don't like Alicent so much is because she is hiding behind the religion as well, and I really think a big thing on religion.
Agreed. I don't support her politics and everything like that, but it's medieval Westeros thingy.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not religious, people will not follow you. That nearly was their downfall. That's why Jaehaerys was such a big deal, because the Seven were not accepting of the Targaryens because they fucked their siblings, and they're like, that's disgusting. And if the religion is against you, the people will mount behind the religion before they mount behind some strange foreigners who landed here 3 generations ago. So
are you talking about history?
Yeah, so Jaehaerys, the great and one that everyone loves, the reason the reconciliator or whatever, the reason he was so successful was because he became part of the church, and he convinced them, it's like, oh, we're not human. We're not normal humans. We're closer to gods because, look, dragons, blah, that sort of stuff. So we can't be treated the same as that. And
because he married his sister as well.
Yeah, of course he did. Of course he did. And all his kids married each other. So, but that's why he had so much peace, because he got on board with the religion. You have to. You have to play that game. It's gross, but
okay.
And if you're not,
it's gross, then you're
not going to work. It's pointless. You got to play the game, Sakir Royale.
So what do you think about the time jumps? Did that sort of... I get the kind of... You need it for a storytelling kind of thing, but there are some people who think that it was a bit too much, that it didn't really give you time to get to know the characters before they're gone.
I do see their point, because I think the only case I like a slow burn is Game of Thrones. Like, oh, that's my chair again. I'm so sorry.
I heard it, yeah. Not me this time.
For a change, it's me. Yeah, the only place I like a slow burn is Game of Thrones. Like, the entire episode could then be like chatting over lemon cakes and wine, and I'm like, I loved it. I like obsess over it, and I'm absolutely fine with that.
Because they're not talking about lemon cakes when they're talking about like regicide and magic demon babies.
And it's so well written and so beautiful. Anyway, so I would quite happily have had this be 2 seasons. I would have loved to see it stretched out. I would have happily had a whole season with the young ones, see more of that, and a longer stretch of this build up, see more of Harwin Strong, see more of the kids. I would have eaten that up. But if you had that would have been, not knowing people would like it. You got to get to it. You got to get to the dragons. Let's get to it, because you can't run that risk. And I think we'll have enough seasons as it is. Was it 5 or 6? Plenty.
Who said that? Who said how many seasons?
Shit up. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
We'll have like 5 or 6 seasons, which will tell the full story, and it'll be great. So,
Well, it's not going to tell the full story because we're starting halfway through. I mean, if you want to tell the full story, you got to talk about Aegon and what he did. But
yeah, but if you want to start with Aegon, you've got to go back to Valyria, and you've got to tell why his father left and went to Dragonstone. And if you want to write that, you've got to go further back to So no.
Ooh, can we get George R. Martin to finally tell us what happened?
Tell us about the Doom.
The Doom.
That's got to be a spin-off. Those are the spin-offs I want. I want the Doom of Valyria, and they're doing an animated one about Far Essos, so Asia, basically.
Animated one?
Yes. I think it's a good way to kind of test out, see if it still works, and cut your budget down by a lot. You could just have, But yes, so Asian.
If you need voice actors, I am available.
They won't be using white people for this. I really hope. Because it's...
That's fine. I don't need to be part of it. Can I be like a visitor? Can I be a visitor?
You can be like a whatever.
The voice
Marco
of
Polo
Corliss.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's come across the sea.
Stupid white man. Done.
I say I love this.
And you're gone. Yeah. So those.
If I get paid, I'll be fine.
Those are the ones I want. I do not give a shit about the Snow sequel.
I heard about that. Meh. Can we see the history of Valyria in its heyday, but as like an odd couple comedy? Like you've got like Aegon's father who's like really and there's like some sort of slave person who's like, I'm really goofy, and they have to live together and they always rub each other the wrong way. I'll get my dragon on you. Laugh track.
Well, this is a hot damn mess, isn't it? Thank you. Good night. Yeah, so maybe not that, but yeah, Doom of Valyria. Just show us. You're not going to live that much longer, George. Just tell us what happened.
I think you know what I think he's going to do.
Live forever.
And he should do this. He's going to live forever,
but still not finish the fucking books.
Yeah. He's going to release book 7 and book 6 at the same time. He's fucking writing them both, and he's just going to get them all out and be like, listen, here it is. Boom, done. I'm done. I'm over. It's done. I'm going to go do more of the things that I want to do, which is eat ice cream and make a
fuck women
spin-off stories and fuck his sister. No, just kidding.
Well, yeah, he has been working on this, and he did write other books. So it's he wrote Fire and Blood, which is a fucking enormous book, and that needs a part 2, by the way, George.
Yep.
Don't be getting away with that.
How old is he now? Is he like in his 60s? He's not super old, but
he doesn't look the healthiest at the best of times. So.
Hey Google, how old is George R.R. Martin?
74 years old.
Okay.
74!
We don't have that much longer.
I'm gonna have to jump on this boat, George, and be like, get to writing. You've had plenty of years and plenty of money. Keep going.
Do we need to say anything more? Like, there's so much more we could say, but are we just getting excited and talking over each other at this point? Kinda.
No, I think we've covered it. I do want to say, like, I want to ask you, like, what's up for next season, but also I don't really want to know. I'm kind of okay not knowing.
Remember. I tell you, I don't
want spoilers.
I know
anyway.
There's the big fight with the final fight, but that'll obviously be in whatever final season we have.
There's a final fight. I don't think the War of the Dance of the Dragons war is going to last for 5 seasons. They got to move on at some point, don't they?
No, this is the whole thing. It is enormous. It's the end of the dragons, basically. They don't recover after this.
Okay, say no more. Say no more. I don't want to know. Anything else?
It's going to be all the politics. We're going to get all the other, because it's been very much, which is why it's been a really good thing for people to watch. There's been one story. There's one family. There's one kind of central bit to it. Now that it's full on started, she's got to rally her troops. So she's got to go around and meet all the other families and get them involved. And then we just start having wars and fighting. And then, you think, yay, they've invaded Castle Rock. Like, shit, they weren't there. All that kind of stuff. You've got to...
Yeah, I suppose. The thing is, like, even if you have read the books, you have no idea what's going to happen.
I have no idea. No clue.
No idea. Who's getting an Emmy? I think Emma Darcy is.
Emma.
I think Paddy Considine
I don't know if Paddy deserves it. He fine.
Died. Everybody who dies.
He was fine. I don't think he was revolutionary. He got his name first and probably got paid way more than anyone else. I don't think he was revolutionary.
Yeah, he's a good nomination then.
Yeah. I think Emma's the main one. Alicent was lovely as well, but I think
that'd be good. Yeah.
I think Emma did the heavy lifting. I think when it came to the end.
Fair enough.
No to Matt
Anything
Smith.
else you want to say?
No to Matt Smith.
No.
Ew. I thought he was hot, and then I realized he's not. He just has a good body and just plays a piece of shit in everything he's in. I was like, oh.
He does. Even his doctor was like, I'm a bit weaselly.
Which, arrogant. He does look like a weasel. And he's playing it brilliantly. That's great. Because Damon's a piece of shit.
Oh.
But,
yeah.
Ugh, dragons. Ugh, shut up.
Dragons is the power. He didn't tell you. He didn't tell you of the dream of the ice and fire.
So I'm so sick of shit men. I'm so bored of them. Why are they?
I want them to stop saying A Song of Ice and Fire in
Please
the show.
stop.
We get it. Yeah, okay. We
get it. But we also know it has nothing to do with that. Because it wasn't a Targaryen who stopped it.
Yeah.
Both princes and princess that was promised, both Azor Ahais were there, and neither of them stopped it. So it doesn't matter. It's fucking, why are you going on about it?
It was a street urchin. It was a tomboy.
It was just some annoying northern chick. Give a shit.
Anything else you want to say about Hot D?
Season 2, I would like more attractive men, please.
Mm-hmm.
I would like some male characters that aren't garbage.
Not garbage male characters.
I want to see more of Rhaenys. I think she's my favorite character.
Eve Best could get an Emmy as well.
Absolutely. But let's let her get some acting chops. I think she's got more time on screen.
She's a classic English TV actress, isn't she?
Yeah, but let's get her more on screen, more on the dragon. Are we going to age the boys up again, do you think? Or maybe season 3? Because they'll have to go up a bit.
Well, how much time passes after this season?
I don't know. Lucerys is dead, so he would have been at the danger of, in 2 years, looking completely different, so.
Fine. Older boys, for us to ogle?
Yeah, I would just love it if the show was just all the female characters and their relationships, because I'm bored of the male characters. We had them all in Game of Thrones. Can we have an entire season that's directed entirely by women? Because they did about half of them this time. It's like, why don't they just do all of them? Just do all of them.
I admit I have not been paying attention to like writers and directors because they're all names that I don't recognize, and I just okay, whatever.
I have, just because I love when people react. I love the reactions I'm seeing. People, like women, are pointing out the differences in how it looks and feels to them, because it's very much written and directed by women, like how it's so different when a male director tries to do something sexy for women versus when a woman does it. And I'm like, this is cool. It's just a different language, a different way of telling stories. It's like, let's just make this more, just have the whole thing done by them, because they can do gross and slutty as well. They're fine.
I never thought of that, and you should point it out next time we have a chat.
It was... Yeah, the one where Daemon was flirting with the 14-year-old. Women are obsessed with hands, apparently. Yeah.
Women or women directors?
When you're shooting for the female gaze, I'm sorry if this sounds like I'm mansplaining, but I'm explaining to a man, so whatever.
Yeah, let me know. I genuinely don't know.
Apparently, it's a lot about hands. That's what they find sexy and sensual. And so when he would always kiss, but he would hold her like in certain ways, and you're like, oh god, I wouldn't have even noticed. But women were like losing their shit about it, because it's just done really, that feels really intimate and sexy to them, whereas when a man does, it's like moves, smash your fuck, done. Very different.
Okay, I haven't thought of it, so thank you for opening my eyes.
I had no idea.
I'm never gonna not think of it now, though.
Yeah, when you see hands beautifully shot and in a sensual situations, probably a female director.
I mean, it makes sense. I definitely think that men are less, generally speaking, men are less sensual when it comes to directing romantic scenes.
Which is fine. We're all different, but men have been doing this for all time. Can we just have women do it all the time and see how we react to it?
It's their turn.
We may find stuff we like that we didn't know. Kink unlocked, could be fun. Yeah, sexy men.
On that note,
more girls, men ruin everything. Brilliant. And more Negroni Spagliata. with Prosecco in it.
What is that? What you drink when you watch it?
No, you're so out of touch, you loser. That's a soundbite that Emma's. There's an interview where Alicent and where Olivia and Emma are interviewing each other, and she's like, "What's your drink of choice?" And she goes, "Negroni, Spagliata, with Prosecco in it," and everyone lost their minds. It was such an addictive soundbite, and gay girls were losing it, and now it's become a song. And like that weekend, every bar was like sold out of Negroni Spagliatas, and like, oh my god, pay attention what the kids are talking about.
Didn't know that. This is all TikTok that I'm not on. Really
get with it.
So
more Negroni Spagliata.
This is where you come in to help educate me on this kind of stuff.
Oh, stunning! Love it.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you for listening. If you have anything to add that we missed, or if you have any good things or bad things that we didn't talk about that you think we should talk about, let us know. We do check our email all the time. You can email us at incompletegeekspodcast@gmail.com. If you want to contact either of us directly, you can contact me on Instagram. I'm at John Marks. That's JONMARX. You can contact Nick on Twitter. That is at Nick Baker Geek. Or check out our TikTok, which is going to have some new stuff coming up soon.
Yes, if I get around to working on it.
It'll happen.
Whichever platform you're listening to this on, please consider following us and giving us a 5-star rating so you can be notified of any new episodes that come out. It really helps us grow, and we want to reach more people and talk about more gay geek shit.
Yeah, so let us know what you want to hear next. I think we should do a Doctor Who episode again because...
Yeah.
Oh, I need to catch up though. So that's coming soon. If you have any suggestions, let us know. Otherwise, thanks for listening. We do get things wrong.
A lot.
We do get wrong. I'm sure I got stuff wrong. If in case you haven't realized by now, we're just not complete geeks.
But we are working on it.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
I've become an introvert. Like, I don't have anything going on.
No, you just have a boyfriend, so you don't do anything. I have a boyfriend, You're staying with a boyfriend.
Basically, yeah.
Whereas I should be out trolling the streets to try and find a fucking straggler man who I can just
trolling with your butt up in the air.
Yeah.
The calling.
Flouncing it around, seeing if anyone's interested. But so far, no takers.